It's that time of year again.
Which time?
Time to save all of our seeds.
Yay, I love this time.
I do too. I remember when we had just met in August of last year, and I came over to your house, and I think it was around like October, and I'm looking around, I'm like, Shannon, we have a lot of seeds we need to start saving around this place. I just got real seed saving bossy with you.
You did. I loved it. I was like, okay.
Let's do it.
Welcome to Fostering Blooms, the podcast where we dig deep into gardening and all the ways it can enrich your home and life.
Together, we'll explore every aspect of gardening the organic way, keeping it simple, accessible, and fun.
Whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting your hands in the dirt, we're here to share the tips and insights you need to grow something truly special. I'm Shannon Foster Boleen.
And I'm Caitlin Blum, and we're two friends on a mission to cultivate beauty, creativity, and connection through everything we grow. This is Fostering Blooms.
So let's talk about some tips and tricks and things to help you save seeds that are growing in your garden right now and you can use for next year.
Yeah, and I think for me, a couple of things I love about saving seeds, especially with my vegetables. I saved a bunch of chili pepper seed last year from two that are harder to get, which is a piquillo pepper and a Calabrian pepper. They're very tricky to germinate, and they came back super easy,
That's
germinated super easy. And I feel like part of that is because it's from the same climate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so genetically it's like, okay, we're ready for this. I feel like this is anecdotal evidence that the seed that you save in your own climate comes back better.
Agreed, 100%. And you're saving money.
And that's the other thing I was going to say I love. Good job. Read my mind. That was a high five for any of you.
Gentle listener.
You dear gentle listeners. We're high-fiving. Yeah, so what seeds are we going to save this year? What are some of the things that you're saving?
Where do I even begin? Well, top of mind right now, zinnias. We talked a little bit about that in our Garden Ready September. And this spring, I did a lot of floret that I had saved from the previous year and floret seeds that I still had actually in my packets. And I saved them all last year. And this year, I'm being more picky about what I'm going around and looking at the varieties like, ooh, I like this one. I like this one. So I've been tagging them. And the big thing is, if you want to collect seeds on any of your plants, is making sure that it dies on the plant, dries out fully before you collect it for seed. And this is, the flowers. You saved seed from arugula, and you let it flower, you let it die on the plant, and then you clipped it off and you saved the arugula seed.
I got a ton of arugula seeds.
More than we'll ever need. You didn't buy more, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
I don't.
We have so much collected.
Yeah, no. It was one whole plant, and I probably saved seeds from maybe a third of what dried, and it's just tons. It's a very prolific seed, and it's a little hard to get out, but not hard. I mean, you just have to. It's a little fiddly because there's lots of little tiny pods, but they're beautiful. There's like a iridescent layer in between. Anyways, I think seeds, what's cool about seeds is how beautiful, like the poppy pods.
I had intentions of bagging up the poppies, and I just ended up taking them out of the pods and crushing them and spreading them around my yard. I didn't even say, I just spread them around where I wanted them. And I'm like, okay, well.
Because that's what you're going to do
Anyways, why bag them up and take the time? I was like, I'm just going to spread them out now.
What I do with my foxglove is somewhat similar to that. I cut off the stalk, I put it in the paper bag, and I save some of them and bring them inside to start in trays.
Yeah,
but I also cut off the stalks where they are and spread the seed around in that bed to get more in that area. I guess I've taken it maybe some other locations, but usually I'll crush also the seeds for that same bed just so that I can continue to have more grow and fill in where they're dying back since they're biennials.
Yeah, little babies are on there. So that's great.
Celosia. Oh, let's talk about celosia.
Oh, Lord. You only need one branch.
Seriously.
You only need one flower to save enough celosia seed. There's so many seeds in each one of them. I still have celosia seed that I saved from last year that I didn't even use this year. I really just don't even need that much.
I think there's only one variety I'm going to save from, The one that I love the most is the sangria variety that I got from Florida a couple years ago. I wish you could see it, gentle listener, because
It's a forest.
it is so huge. I have one, it looks like a Christmas tree, and it literally is 7.5 feet tall. And it is shaped like the branches are coming out like a Christmas tree. And then I have a bunch of other ones that one is almost 8 feet tall, but it's beautiful. And I've planted some of those along the back fence line. So they're new plants this year and they're not as big yet, but as they grow, they're going to look really pretty on that fence line. And by the way, this celosia that's growing in this new kind of rose garden mixed border that I'm creating, I did not plant a single one of them there. Did not grow it from seed.
They're all volunteers.
Every single one is volunteer.
I know.
So what I did is I had a bunch of gaps, as it is a new bed and mainly annuals. I had a bunch of gaps, and so I let the celosia that came up grow there, and then I started picking out the ones that I didn't need, which was quite a few.
Wow.
So-
So it wasn't even all that, you know.
No, there was more. And I mean, I probably ripped out at least 50 of them. And I didn't
Oh
have
my
any place
God.
else that I wanted to move them that was ready.
Oh my God.
So next year, I know I'll have volunteers.
Oh yeah.
And next year, I probably will leave even fewer in because I hope to have some more perennials and other
Replacing them,
things.
yeah.
But that's okay. I think the point is that some of these plants, like my white swan echinacea, some of those seeds I've grabbed,
Yep.
and some of them I let fall.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think you could do a variety of both. And it's like, if you don't catch it in time to bag it up or whatever, then that's okay. It'll fall around
Yeah.
where it is, and hopefully you'll get some that come back. And it's funny about the celosia. I have this area off my back deck where I usually take and like throw out my dead flowers out into the pasture. And,
Okay.
and I have celosia that's growing right where with this area that are
That's funny.
volunteers.
Yeah.
So celosia is a great one. Celosia, zinnias, dahlias, echinacea, yarrow, osa.
I think that also there's things that you forget about, like nigella. In the courtyard, I planted a bunch of nigella albion, which is also called love in a mist, and it's like a white and green. I picked some of the stems and brought some of the seed inside, and then I'm leaving the other ones for fall interest. A few of them I busted out there in the bed itself.
We did all three.
And this is the time of year that they actually need to be planted outside. That's the thing with the echinacea plants. Some of them need stratification, meaning that they need the temperature to be colder, warmer, colder, moister, etc. So some of your echinacea you'd be planting in the fall, if it's already blooming, just grab a seed head, pull it off, walk around the area and just sprinkle it.
Yep.
Yes, it's great if you can put some compost down first or whatever, but a lot of those flowers like love in a mist and echinacea, they don't need
care.
for rich soil,
They don't
right?
need to be babied.
No.
Like the area that I want to do more foxglove in, I need to get nicer soil down there. I'll do a variety of just throwing some down this fall, and then of course in the trays too. But
But you know the issue with that soil, I think
it's too red clay.
It's too compacted.
Agreed.
And then it dries and gets wet and dries and gets wet. But
Yep.
I will tell you with the foxglove, where I have mine, that soil's good, but across from it, 4 baby foxglove plants were growing in the gravel.
Then they should be
So
fine there.
I think it's because the gravel is a little more free draining, because the foxglove like a moist and well draining soil. So I think if you look at like a lot of these plants that send down a deeper taproot, they can handle some of the poorer soil.
Yeah.
Whereas some of the other ones, they need a little bit more friable, meaning like free, F-R-I-B-L-E, since we like to spell things, soil. Some plants like flowers, like zinnias or dahlias, around this time of year, you want to start tagging them, right?
You don't want them all to die on the plant, and you're like, well, shoot, what plant is this? I've been taking pictures now,
Yes.
tagging them, putting them in a little spreadsheet, and then collecting, and then I know which ones are which.
I feel like there's so many plants that you can save seeds from. We could literally sit here at the map. What I can tell you is to not try to save seed from certain things that can be kind of hard, like lettuce can be difficult. You have to let it bolt and it has to stay for a while. And like carrots, saving seed from carrots, you can, but
I left one of my carrots because it started to flower,
yeah.
and I was like, maybe I'll leave you here and I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
I was like, why not? But you're right, some of those you have to
Yeah.
wait much longer and past the season of it being smart to rip it out and plant something in its place, to just get the seed from it, and you could buy a $3 or $4 pack. So there's some of it just doesn't, you're right, make as much sense. What about our tomatoes though? That's something that I like.
So that's a really good question. And before we go to that, I want to mention one thing, because I did leave my cilantro in place where I had flowers growing. It basically was bolting. It was going over. The flowers were covering it. And I got all kinds of coriander seeds. I'm like, oh my gosh. They are a little fiddly to get off the plant, but I did get some coriander. I hope it's flavorful. I guess we'll find out. I don't use it in a ton of things, so we'll see. But sometimes with the herbs like that, it can be worth it. So kind of pick and choose. Don't make it too hard, I guess is what I'm saying. So tomatoes, yes. One thing with any plant that's an F1 hybrid, if you try to save those seeds, it will not come back true. So one of my favorite tomato varieties is called Chef's Choice, and it is F1 hybrid. And so I never save those seeds. However, Black Krim, which is also one of my favorites and kind of similar in flavor to Chef's Choice, it's an heirloom. So you could save those seeds. And with any kind of pulpy material that you have like that, you would want to take that pulp out and rinse out the seeds essentially, and then fully dry them, which is the next thing that we're talking about. But we wouldn't want to leave a tomato on the vine just to die and collect seed from. So you can totally take like a ripe tomato, a ripe pepper, maybe a pepper that's a little gone over, but you don't have to let them die on the vine is my point.
Perfect. Yeah, no, that's a good point to make. And, you know, getting them dried off too. I mean, you could set them in a sunny window. I wouldn't recommend drying them in the oven because that might affect their quality and your germination rate. I read someone use like a hair dryer, but I'm like, aren't your seeds gonna blow all over the flipping place?
Well, I've seen things where people say that they put the seeds in a bowl of water and whatever floats. I think it's whatever
hollow
floats aren't good.
Smart.
I don't want to speak to that methodology because I've never tried it, right? But you could research it and find out. How do you tell if you have viable seed? You know, when you get a seed pack, it'll tell you what the germination rate is. You can look on the back and it'll say like 80% or 60% or 90%. With your own seed, you're not going to know that.
No, absolutely not. But if you really want to test and see the viability of the seeds that you've collected, you can germinate a few in a damp paper towel to see their actual viability. And then I think it helps you to learn like, oh, I picked that one too soon. Like it should have dried longer, or that seed was all
moldy or something,
and it didn't germinate at all. So it kind of helps you learn too the best time to pick and see what you have on hand, and if it's worth even saving all of the seeds that you've collected. If you get a good germination rate on them, okay, I know these are going to work next spring. Hopefully you have the ability to save a lot more than you'd actually get in a pack. So just so extra, put 2 or 3 in a hole, and then, you know.
On some of our dahlia varieties that we saved last year, I had like 80-90% germination on one variety.
It was amazing.
Yeah, and the piquillo peppers, which I usually get like maybe a 30% germination rate, it was like 80-90%. It was nuts how much better it was.
It's awesome.
So the drying part of it, I bought 2 drying racks off of Amazon. They're like a bamboo edge and they have little holes on the ends, and it's like they stack on top of each other. So you can make a tower. They're a little bit more of an investment, but I feel like it's been really worth it. And even like my fava beans, I've saved some of those shells because they couldn't dry all the way on the plant because it was so wet this spring. My green beans, I'm letting those dry on the vine right now.
That's smart to do some of those.
Shelling beans.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you want those to dry. And the thing that's so funny about shelling beans, it sounds silly to say this, but I was like, oh, I want to grow kidney beans, or I want to grow this bean, specialty bean from Rancho Gordo. Well, guess what? Just buy a bag of beans from Rancho Gordo and cook some of them and then sow the others, because that is the seed. That is the seed.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll have tons of bean seeds to use for next year.
Right. I won't have to buy. And that is one nice thing about shelling beans, green beans, snap peas, English peas.
The Nairobi snap peas, you've saved a bunch of those? Okay.
Fava beans, anything that has that bigger seed like that. It's easy to save. They're easy to dry. I highly encourage you to save those. And, you know, again, you can just dry them out, throw them in a brown paper bag, and start shelling them out in the winter.
Yeah, it's a great winter activity. We did that too a lot with our seeds.
When you're cleaning them up, how do you know, Caitlin, like, what's the chaff and what's the seed and everything? Tell me.
It's a great question. So zinnias is a good example of this. When I used to collect and save zinnia seeds, I would take the whole seed head and save the whole thing. But there's a lot of chaff in there. It's interesting when you pull off the seed head, you can kind of tell that there's papery chaff stuff in there. The chaff is like papery thin. And then tucked inside that papery chaff are the seeds. They're shaped like a teardrop, and you can tell they're a little bit heavier than the chaff, and so they just kind of fall out. So I like to separate the whole flower, and then you can kind of fluff off the chaff and you can see the seeds that are left over. I mean, each flower is different for sure, and shapes of seeds are abundant as can be. So if you're unsure, okay, what's the actual seed in this? You Google it, look it up. So you're saving just your seed and not all the chaff, because you go to plant some chaff and it's not going to grow.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to know. Like with the dahlia seed.
Yeah, same
That's
thing.
one that I have to really take my time with. And each dahlia plant seed, it's shaped relatively the same, but the sizes can really vary, just like the tubers.
Tiny. Yeah.
Some are really tiny, some are bigger. So I say, you really want to take your time with that. I think with the chaff, it's one of those things where the more you do it, the better you get at
identifying.
Yeah, I find like shelling beans very relaxing. And probably that's because I'm not growing like hundreds of thousands of pounds of beans. I go out in the morning with the dog and we pull some pods. I bring them in, and maybe that evening while I'm sitting there talking or watching something or whatever, I can just kind of pop them out, or a little bit at a time here and there in between things. And you can do the same thing with your seed heads.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great thing to do in the winter. We did that in the winter. Separating seed heads is something to do, and it was cold outside. So yeah, lots of different stuff you can be pulling. Again, make sure you are labeling your stuff so you know what's in your paper bags.
Yes. Yes, label your paper bag. And then when you actually take it out and separate it, I bought some paper seed packets off of Amazon. They're not the greatest, this brand that I got. So we're going to use them up and then get a different one. But it does have the space on the front when you can say the date you harvested it and what it is. I just take my seed packets of what I've saved and put it in my seed saving box.
Yeah.
Which is the same as your seed saving
It
box.
is. We have big seed saving boxes.
You want to talk about your seed saving box?
I do. I've always kept my seeds in a big plastic tote, and I opened it up and there's seed packets everywhere. I know where they're organized, but God forbid someone else try to find something in it. Shannon's like, what is this? And I was, it's my seed organizing. Shannon, she's like, honey, we need to get you something better. So these seed organizational totes are awesome. And so worth it. Yeah.
It's a photo storage box that you can get at Michael's or on Amazon.
They're great. And it's been, everything's organized. I pull out what I need. I make sure I put it back where I found it.
That's right.
And so it's terrific. It's a very, I think, cheap investment for something that really helps you in the long run to keep all of your stuff organized.
Can I talk about seed storage for just a second too?
Please do.
One of the first things that I learned is that I needed to actually keep an active inventory as I expanded my garden.
That's a good thing to talk about too.
Yeah. So I have a spreadsheet, and on the spreadsheet, I have the name of the seed, the variety, and any other information I want to put in there. But basically, it's alphabetical, so A to Z. And then I also have on there a reorder column. If I know that I put that packet back and there's only like 5 seeds or 10 seeds in it, I color code the reorder with like a light red or something that gets my attention, so that when I'm going through, I know, hey, I need to reorder these. If you know that you're really going to use a lot of one thing, then I would double check yourself anyway. Because last year I thought, oh, I have enough Snapdragon seeds. And then I realized, oh, wait, I put this back in and I didn't say to reorder. But having that spreadsheet handy is a really good way to know what you have in stock. Then in these photo storage boxes, basically it's a large plastic case with a handle. Not that large. Yeah, like a briefcase size. And then in it has little plastic individual boxes. So I label those. And with the vegetables, I found like carrots and radishes, I actually put in the same thing because I'm usually sowing them at the same time. And then I have another couple that have a large span on the alphabet, so that if it's just random like cardoons or artichokes, you don't necessarily need to have a whole box for that. So you have a couple that are going to be like letters A to whatever. Anyway, the point is, flowers I do a little differently. I have all the boxes like A through B, C through F, whatever I think, hey, I have a lot of the seeds. It's more helpful to have those alphabetized in there.
Yeah.
So between the combination of having a flower box and a vegetable box, if you have a lot of stuff, otherwise you can do it in one. It gives you enough space to expand and stay organized. And then having your spreadsheet, one tab for vegetables, one tab for flowers, will help you to not reorder or to know like this seed's from 2021. It's still probably viable if you stored it correctly, but also the germination rate might be lower.
Yeah, you might not get what you need. And to add on to it too, in each one of the little cases inside, we put those little silica packs, which you find those all the time and you don't even think about it. So anytime you have a silica pack from
Gosh, the dog treats, like the dog bones or whatever, they're in there all the time.
My mushroom coffee, there's ones in there that keep it fresh. Basically, it's just to help
suck up the moisture.
Suck up the moisture, and you'll get even a longer lifespan off your seeds that you've bought or that you're saving too.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, it's a great tip. Every time I see a silica packet, I'm like, do I need another one? I should save it just in case.
Yeah. And there's some things that are just going to have a shorter life, like 1 to 3 years, which would be like maybe onions and parsley and corn. And then some of your beans might be like 3 to 5 years, tomatoes and squash about the same, and cucumbers and lettuce a little bit longer. Although I will say,
it's interesting.
I have not tried saving cucumber seeds.
I was actually going to ask you, why don't you save the ones that you love so much this year?
I will. I think they're F1s. I have to go back and look though, because I can't recall.
Go check, because I have one of the pickling ones left on the vine right now, because I know you ripped your plants out.
My pickling one, I did.
But I have a bunch of pickling ones in the fridge.
Yeah.
So let me know. I love how we're doing this on the podcast.
I know.
Let me know if you need those seeds and we'll save them. So like, just like an opportunity like that just arose, and I thought about it earlier, but I forgot to say something.
Yeah, and that's a good one because you don't get a lot of cucumber seeds in a pack. And part of the reason is because cucumbers might be one of the few things that are almost 100% germination. I mean, those bigger seeds tend to be the less fiddly ones typically. You know what I mean?
Your squashes, your zucchini, absolutely. And I had a volunteer slicer that came up, and I just left it and let it grow.
Yeah. Cool. Do it. And I think you can freeze them as well. If you do decide to freeze them, you want to put them like in an airtight jar for long-term freezer. You wouldn't leave it in like a paper seed.
That makes sense.
You know,
you'll get freezer burnt.
Right. You would, yes. Don't leave it in a seed packet and just throw it in there. So you want to have them really tight. But you know, you've got to have room in your fridge. I've heard mixed reviews. Some people keep their seeds in the refrigerator. Here's what I do. I keep mine in those little photo storage boxes in my office in a cabinet in the dark.
Yeah,
so they're in the dark. It's a cool area and it's dry, and they have the silica packs. I don't feel like they need to go in the fridge. I haven't had issues with germination decline. For the most part, it's been fine. If you leave them in a bright, sunny, warm place, like a lot of times I forget to take them out of the room where I do my planting, and I worry about that temperature fluctuation. So when it's in the spring or the winter and it's cooler in here, it's not such a big deal.
But during the summer.
But during the summer, absolutely not.
You know, I just had a thought. If there's an apocalypse and things go to shit, I can literally grab that briefcase of seeds.
Yeah, just run out the door.
And add it to whatever few things we can take. Think about how helpful that would be.
No, it really would be helpful because we would have food.
Yeah, so that was just another thought. So you should get a seed organizing briefcase yourself so you're ready to go.
It is really cool to save your own seeds because then you no, hey, I don't have to rebuy. Like, I don't have to rebuy arugula. I don't have to rebuy celosia. I don't have to rebuy zinnias. I don't have to. Yes, it does.
It really adds up. Let's say you did an order at Johnny's and you bought $80 worth of seeds.
Well, I just spent $140 on
on
seeds,
your stuff.
on new varieties of things.
And that was all new stuff, so we weren't able to save it and everything. But you know, you're saving. I think at least we're probably saving $100, $200 a year.
100%,
and maybe even more. I think we could probably push our seed saving even further. We're doing right now what's convenient. I think.
Something I grew this year, I grew 2 versions of the Queenie zinnias. And if you haven't ever checked out the Queenie Lime Red or the Queenie Limes, there's a whole bunch of queenies.
Mm-hmm.
And one of those had the most stunning, I can't remember which one it is. I'll try to look it up and put it in the notes, but it came out almost like a burgundy purple color. It was absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to save my queenies so that I don't have to rebuy them. I think they're about $5 a pack.
Yeah,
you know, and I don't need that many plants. So even if I just got 5 seeds, it would be enough for where I put those.
Yeah, absolutely. We love our floret seeds. We love them. They're going for $17 a pack.
Mm-hmm.
And so we save it all that we can. Even if you just start with a few flowers here and there, it'll help.
Yeah.
And it's fun, you know. I saved these seeds last year and I'm growing them again next year.
It's cool to see the babies of some of your babies.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. The zinnias, if we wanted true to form zinnias, I would have to bag each one to make sure that it didn't get cross-pollinated by anything else.
Right.
So the varieties that we're going to get from the seed saving of these will be really cool because we don't know what
they'll be completely unique.
They'll be totally unique. That's kind of a fun experimental thing in itself too.
I get so much joy looking at the dahlias that are growing this year that we saved the seed from last year and saying, oh, that's a baby from this plant and that's a baby from that plant. And again, it's really one of those things about gardening I love altogether, which is that beautiful circle of life and tying together and the continuation of things and the seasons and all of this stuff.
Yeah. I always get sad when it gets to the end of summer. I love fall, but I kind of get sad it's the end of the official growing season. We're doing our fall stuff, of course, but the seed saving helps me look forward to the new year, and what I'm doing right now will benefit me next year. It's a fun way to, full circle it up.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go get dirty.
Let's go grow, baby.